won everything. He's been awarded everything. He's a most celebrated violinist, and Ray joins us now in the studio. Ray Chen, good morning.
Hey guys, good morning.
Really nice to have you here. Do you often get back to Australia, because you play around the world now?
Well, I try to get back as much as I can. Australia's always going to be home for me, so naturally there's more of an inclination for me to come back. I try to come back as often as I can. Last year I didn't get to come back at all, but the year before I did come back 3 times, so
that's nice.
Often varies.
And it's a great hook that brings you back this time, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Melbourne Symphony, you know, it's their opening subscription week, so you know that for me is good enough of a reason.
Absolutely.
Indeed, and we've got Sir Andrew Davies conducting as well, the chief conductor there, and you've brought this fine instrument with you. Tell us about this.
That's correct. This is a Stradivarius violin. It's made in 1715, so 301 years old as of today, and it's called the Joachim. All the greatest Strads, as we like to call them as violinists, have names. Yeah, and this one was in the presence of a few very important composers around.
Just mention who those composers were.
Brahms, Schumann,
Yes.
Bruch. He also studied with Mendelssohn, so you know there are a few really big names in the classical music world, and all of whom dedicated actually their violin concertos to this man who once owned this instrument.
How does it feel holding and playing something that has had that musician play those compositions in the presence of those composers, that history literally in your hands?
Well, I got to say, I guess the notes are already there.
Yes.
And, you know, when a poor workman blames his tools, you can't in this case, I suppose.
Yes.
Are you conscious whenever you play with it, and certainly when you travel long distances, of just the sheer history involved?
Absolutely.
And the value of that instrument?
Oh yeah, I mean these instruments are worth so much money. I mean in the millions. They're getting into the double digits these days.
Normally they're loaned to you by someone who actually owns them.
Right. This one is loaned to me by the Nippon Music Foundation. So it's a Japanese organisation that is very kindly loaned to people who are not only Japanese but all over the world.
Right.
And does it improve with age?
Well, some say that's the secret to these instruments. However, I personally think, yes, it's part of the secret, because back then in 1715 there were also other makers around in Cremona, in France as well, and in Germany. So it can't just only be the age of the instrument. However, I have kind of played around with modern instruments. That's also another question people usually ask. Well, what's the difference, right? And I have to say, well, I guess one's like driving in a Ferrari, the other one's kind of like in a, you know, your average...
The old Toyota.
How long have you been playing, Ray? When did the violin bug first bite you?
You were very young, weren't you?
Well, I was 4 years old. Yeah, I started when I was 4. I had a toy guitar that I liked to, you know, play along with normally, and then suddenly one day I had the idea somewhere that I put the guitar underneath my chin and together with a chopstick pretend to play this kind of new instrument.
And your parents went, "Oh, hallelujah! He's going to be a violinist."
Well, I think that, you know, it's quite the traditional, I would say, especially Asians, to have a bit of a musical upbringing as part of our education. And in the beginning, you know, it was just a fun hobby. I didn't think about, I was going to become a violinist.
Do you remember that moment when it actually tipped over into something a lot more serious and it became a calling for you?
Yes, I do, actually. It was when I was 8 years old, and I was invited to go play in the opening ceremony of the Winter Olympics in Japan. Now, this was a huge event for me, a monumental event, and just such a great experience. I had such a good time. Not only the playing, I mean, it made me realise that I could enjoy good food, meet cool new people, experience a whole different culture, and play music. And all I had to do was just spend a little bit of time with this wooden instrument.
Now, we understand you've actually got something in mind to play for us today. We never ask you musicians to bring in your instruments because we think it's so forward. But if you're going to play for us, yes, please.
Absolutely. Here's a little tune that I think all of us will recognise.
OK, let's see. so beautiful.
Thank you, thank you.
So beautiful.
Tugs the heartstrings, Alan, doesn't it? It's fantastic.
Your parents must be so proud.
Oh, I believe they are.
And how lovely to hear that song played in that way. Well, look, we know you're playing Tchaikovsky. Does modern music enter your life, your playing life very much, Ray?
It does, it does. There's actually a lot of cool things you can do with modern music. I mean, most of us have kind of a misconception about what that can be. And sure, you never know if the composer you're listening to, I mean, think about Beethoven or several of these composers, Brahms that we just mentioned. Beethoven, for example, when his symphony was being premiered, or Stravinsky's symphonies were being premiered, people actually hated them.
That's right.
And the critics were just absolutely just bombarding them with, I mean, it was just terrible. However, time tells. So, I mean, all we can do is try to invest as much time as we can into modern music and then time will tell, I guess, in the future.
Ray, it's a really nice sentiment because of that divide, you know, between contemporary composition and more recent, and there's one of your sponsors there, Giorgio Armani, sitting watching you. We often get caught, you know, in a false debate, if you like, between the value of the two. So it's nice to hear you say that. Enjoy your time with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra and take care of that beautiful violin, won't you?
Yes, very carefully.
Absolutely, absolutely, I will. Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you. Thanks so
Ray.
much.
Morning.
Ray Chen, of course, playing with the MSO, their opening performance for their subscription season, which will be marvellous.